Today the class is going to be Mesilat Yesharim with a focus on marriage and how we use Mesilat Yesharim in relationship between a husband and a wife, or finding your wife, or your relationship with a man and a woman. That's going to be the focus. So I hope you guys will get something out of the idea. Okay? So we'll start with this book, Mesilat Yesharim. Besides it being the number one bestseller after the Bible, studied by all sects, all groups, Haredi, Ashkenazi, Sephardi, Hasidic, everybody studies this book. And this book is based on a Braita, which is like a Mishnah, from the Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Pinchas ben Yair lived 2,000 years ago, right as the end of the Second Temple, and he was famous for being involved in the mitzvah of Pidyon Shvuim, which is the mitzvah of releasing the Jewish prisoners. Unfortunately, throughout generations, Jews were kidnapped and asked for a lot of money. And even though the halacha is you're not allowed to overpay for a Jew is kidnapped, Jews always overpaid because we love each other too much. But so Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was famous for this mitzvah. His number one claim to fame was Pidyon Shvuim. And he used to go, and there's a story that the Gemara tells. He was going to release a prisoner. And he came to a raging river. And he said to the river, "Split so I can go and do my mitzvah." And the river said, let's put it on the table, the discussion. You are going to perform the mitzvah of trying to release the prisoners. You may succeed, you may not. They may kill the prisoner before you arrive. They may not agree to release the prisoner. I am performing the mitzvah that I was created for, is to flow. That's my job as a river. So you maybe will succeed, maybe won't. I for sure will succeed doing God's will. God created me to flow. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair says, let me explain to you, dear river. This is not a discussion. You either split, or I decree there'll never be water flowing in your river here. And the sea splits, and Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair walks through and goes to perform the mitzvah. So Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair was something great. You could learn a lot from this story. We could talk about this for an hour, but that's not the goal of this class. But Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair, the idea is we're in this world to do our effort. We don't know if we'll succeed. If we won't, we try our best. Right? Lo alecha amlecha ligmor. You don't have to finish the job, but you have to give it your best shot. That's what we're in this world for. And Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. Now, what is Ben Yair? The son of light. Pinchas ben Yair. Bringing people into the light. Bringing people out of the bondage, out of slavery, out of suffering. So this book, Mesilat Yesharim, basically is there to take each and every one of us out of our prison. We're all captives. What's the prison that we're in? The prison of the selfishness. We're all in prison. There's a Rav Kook writes, Harbe tzarich la'amol adam. A person must toil, must work very hard. כדי לראות שיש מציאות אחרת מבלעדו. In order for you to be able to acknowledge that there's somebody else that thinks differently, sees the world differently, has another way of understanding the world. A person has to work super hard because we are locked into our own prison of En Od Milvadi. Our goal is to En Od Milvado, but to be able to reach the level that we can understand that there's another person here. It's not only me. And according to my rabbi, one of the big reasons why Rav Shlomo Aviner, why it's become so hard to get married is because people used to feel bad that they were selfish and try to work on it. And now it became legitimized. The more selfish you are, the better. You have a right to be, you should just look out for yourself. You should only take care of yourself. It's all about me, 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 me. And it's very hard to see another person and to acknowledge that there's another existence besides me. And this brings us to this great story. The great Midrash tells us a story that there was a very wealthy woman. A wealthy woman in the Gemara is called Matronita, very wealthy woman. She comes to Rabbi Yossi ben Chalafta and she says, how many, I want to read it inside so that I'm not making things up, and anyone who wants to see the source after, I'll be happy to send it to you. Okay. Let me see. Sorry, I'm just going to try to find the source. So the basic story is, I don't know if everyone's a famous story that people know. She's a rich woman. She came and she said, how many days? Here, I found it. Rabbi Yossi bar Simon patach. Rabbi Yossi bar Simon opened his lecture, Tehillim Samechet, based on this Tehillim Samechet, and he says, she asked him, this Matronita, Kama yamim bara HaKadosh Baruch Hu olamo? Did God create the world? Yes. In how many days? 6 days. He said, 6 days. Amar la, shesh yamim. Because it says in the Torah, Ki sheshet yamim asa Hashem et hashamayim et haaretz. Amar lo, ma hu oseh me'oto sha'a v'ad achshav. So what does he do from that moment till now? He created the world 6 days. That's done. What does he do now? You've heard this story? You heard it? Famous story, very important. What does he do now? Amar la Kadosh Baruch Hu yoshev umezaveg zivugim. God sits in heaven and mezaveg zivugim. But Ploni, bito shel Ploni le Ploni. Okay, we're going to take this daughter, we're going to connect with that daughter. Okay? Ishto shel Ploni le Ploni. This woman to this man. Mamono shel Ploni to, you're going to do business with him, you're going to do business with him. All these things are already decreed in heaven. It's interesting also that it says that a person that if you intrude on somebody's business, it's as if you are taking his wife, which is very interesting. That's the Gemara says that if you take someone's business away, it's like you took his wife. Besides that, people invest so much time in their business, I'm saying, like they have a relationship with their work. But it's in heaven, it's from God. Who's going to marry who? Who's going to do business with who? Amalo veda hu umanete. That's what God does. That's God's mission. That's what he does since he created the world. Ve'afani yochola lasot ken. That's easy. Matchmaking. כמה עבדים, כמה שפחות יש לי, שעה קלה ואני יכולה לזווגן. What's the problem? I have thousands of workers. I could connect all my workers. I have a special AI program, tells you based on personalities who's fit with who. I'll line them up. I'll have it perfect, and I can take 2,000 of my workers and do 1,000 weddings in one night, line them up based on AI predictions, I could line them up and I could have them married. Perfect couples. Amarla. Im kalai benaich, if you think it's easy. Kashehi lefanei HaKadosh Baruch Hu kekriyat Yam Suf. If in your mind, if you think this is simple, with all your techniques and all your wisdom, you think you can connect these two people and have them be married, I want you to know, Kashahi lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu kekriyat Yam Suf. For God, it's harder than the splitting of the sea. Splitting of the sea is changing nature. It's harder than to get to connect two people to be married, stay married, be married, stay happily married. Right? Today the numbers are scary. 80% divorce, 50%, 50% divorce, let's say, 80% emotional divorce. So you have, so then from the like 50% who stayed married because of, they don't divorce, kids, finances, it's hard, this, wait till the kids grow up and leave, or just, have your they say 85% cheat on their wives. So my rabbi said one night he was driving in the road, he couldn't sleep. He said, I'll put on the radio to help me stay up. Well, he was tired. Put on the radio. Late night talk show with the psychiatrist, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Psychiatrist, I don't know what to do. I have a good wife. I have good kids. But there's no passion. There's no excitement. I don't love my wife. I don't want to get divorced because it's a hassle. It's this, the kids. It's hard for the kids. But I have no passion, no excitement in my life. What's the problem? You take a woman on the side.
Well,
on the radio. The talk show, the psychiatrist.
The psychiatrist says it?
Yeah, what's the problem? You have a woman on the side that you cheat with. That way you have your excitement, and you still have your family, your kids, your work, you keep your things going, everything stays okay. You have your excitement, everything's okay. You don't have to change anything. My rabbi said he was so upset he definitely wasn't falling asleep. Right? And that's what we see. 85% people cheating on their wives. So this is scary. Here you guys are thinking we want to get married, but like, what are we going into? The answer is Mesilat Yesharim, and we'll explain that by the end of the class. Right? You got to know what you're going into. My father's divorced 6 times, so I also understand the divorce world. And thank God I'm married 30 years. Pretty unbelievable. Not married, no, 28 years, but I was with my wife 2 years beforehand. So we're together 30 years, married 28 years. We just had our wedding anniversary. And my son got married last night. So this is why we're learning on this topic. But the Mesilat Yesharim is the answer. We'll get there in a minute. So he says, oh, you think it's easy? Let me tell you, for God it's harder than the splitting of the sea. Halach lo Rabbi Yossi b'chalafta. End of conversation. The rabbi went on to his day. And what did she do, this lady? Masta, natla 1,000 avadim 1,000 shfachot. Lined up, what we said, 2,000 of her workers, men, women, same ages, this and that, based on who she felt was the most fit for each one. And did one night of a wedding of 1,000 weddings. העמידה אותם שורות, line up, אמרה להם, פלן, יישא פלונית, יישא, you're marrying this person, יישא פלונית. זיווקה אותם בלילה אחד. למחרת, the next morning, עטו לגבי, they came back to her. דין מוחה פציעה, one guy had his brain had a head injury. דין אינו שמיטה, another guy had an eye injury. Din regel tvira, another had a broken leg. They were fighting all night. אמרו להם, אמרה להם, מה נכון? What happened? ענו לה, דא אמרת לה, דא אמרה לית, אנא בילדין. This woman said, I do not want to marry this person. Kill me, and I will not stay with this person. The other one said, I don't want this woman. I don't want this man. I will not stay with this person for a minute. Miyad shalcha v'vied Rabbi Yossi. Call Rabbi Yossi b'chalafta. Ran him in. Amalo, late Eloha Kelechon, there is no God like your God. Emeti Torotchem, your Torah is true. Na'al Meshubechet, your Torah is wise, wisdom is right, going on and on. Yafeh Amalta, you were so true, what you said was so real, was so amazing. She's going on and on. You're amazing, you were right, it's the hardest thing in the world. Amar Lokach Amarti Lach, didn't I tell you? Im kalahi be'enaich, kashahi lefanav, lifnei HaKadosh Baruch Hu kirat yam suf. Didn't I tell you? If you think it's like, oh, what's the big deal? Matchmake, just take two people, put them together. I'm telling you, it's harder than splitting of the sea. And where did I learn it from? HaKadosh Baruch Hu ma'oseh. I learned it because what does God do? HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, mezavgan ba'al kochan shelo b'tovatan. God takes two people, puts them together, not for their good, not because they want it, like we see in Adam and Chava. Adam was asleep. He wasn't aware. And there was an operation that took place. And suddenly there's Chava. So when we meet someone we love, or we fall in love, we call falling in love, we're basically under anesthesia. That's you're not fully functional. You're not fully thinking. And then you wake up and say, whoa, who's this girl? What am I doing here? What's like you know what I'm saying? I wake up after the operation. And that's what happens. But then you have a choice. Like we see in the Torah, there's 4 different models of how people got married. Avram, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. So Avram with Sarah, Yitzchak with Rivka, and Yaakov with Rachel and Leah. And if you look at those 4 models, one is a family member introduced. The other one was a romantic, Rachel at the one was a matchmaker. One was at the well. One was like Leah. He didn't even want it. Like, how did this happen? Like, how did I get into this? It doesn't make a difference how you start. It makes a difference how you end. The choices you make based on. Okay, this is what that person was. Somehow it happened. I met her like this. I met her like that. Through a friend. Through a matchmaking app. Through a introduction. I met her on a bus. Who knows? It could happen. And first of all, be open to any way that it could happen. Secondly, it's not how it starts, it's how it ends. It's how the choices you make based on this is what happened. But he says, this is what we learn. How do we learn this? From the Tehillim, Samech Chet. Samech is 68. Elohim, Moshiv. So the Rav Yosef Ochad says, where did I learn this from? From this pasuk. Elohim, Moshiv Yachidim, Baita. God, Elohim, which is Din, which is the name of judgment. That God it's a judgment. He says, I'm taking you and I'm putting you together against your will, not for your good, but because this is what you need to do. Moshiv Yechidim Baita, Motzi Asirim Bekosharot. So why does he do that? Why is he sticking with a person who, not for my good and not for my will or whatever, right? What did we say? Baal kochan shelo b'tavatan, against my will and right. People just want to be a single. I'll just stay single and enjoy. Whenever I want to sleep, I sleep. When I want to go, I go. What do I need to hassle? My friend said to me, marriage, it's either you'll be super happy or super bad. Just stay like this. Why do you have to have the up and the down? It's either going to be amazing or terrible. I'll just take it flat. I said there's one problem with that. The same thing with Israel. Why should I go to Israel? There's challenges and problems and all these things. Wars. What do you need? You have to be in the middle. You have to be a thorn in the middle of 300 million Arabs that want to murder you. Go somewhere else where people are not trying to kill you. It'll be simple. And there's so many challenges, and there's only one answer. God said you have to do it, so we don't ask questions. Same thing with marriage. Why am I getting married? Because God said to do it. It's hard. It's difficult. Okay, that's secondary. First thing is God said to do it. So we don't ask him how good it is, or if it will be amazing or it will be terrible. Okay, but we're here to serve God. There's an amazing story. A rabbi told his students, this year on Rosh Chodesh, If you have kavana, when you say Ana Hashem in the Hallel, your prayers will be answered. So everybody's Ana Hashem, praying. The rabbi called them in after the prayer. Okay, every one of you, tell me which Ana Hashem did you have a kavana? So one said Ana Hashem Oshiana. Another guy said Ana Hashem Atzlichana. Hashem rescue me. Hashem give me success. He says, you guys missed it. This year the kavana was on Ana Hashem Kani Avdecha. Please Hashem, I'm your servant. I want to just do your will. Nobody said that one. I'll have success. I'll have, rescue me or give you success. That everyone can think of. What about Ana Hashem? Please help me. Let me just do your will. It's like my rabbi tells a story once. Chassidim are talking. My rabbi, he could decree in the sea splits. My rabbi, he could decree in this. My rabbi could decree, blah, blah. And he says, my rabbi, Hashem decrees and he does what Hashem says. That's it. Nothing special. But that's the most special. So Elohim Moshiv Yechidim Baita. And then what does it say? Motzi Asirim. Why does God do this? To take you out of prison. Motzi Asirim. Here's the secret. Rabbi Pinchas ben Yair. You are in this world for one reason. Come out of your prison. When you get married, when you come into a relationship with another person, you are given on a gold platter the keys to come out of prison. Are you going to take that gift? Or are you going to say, no thanks, I'll stay in my prison? But there's a condition. Motzi Asirim, takes out the prisoners. Bekosharot. What is this word? Bekosharot. Hebrew. Kosher is, what does that mean? Bondages, ties, ropes, right? Kosharot. Kosharot. Mai kosharot. What is this word? Mau kosharot. Says I'm reading to you the Midrash. Anybody wants me, I'll send it to you. I'm not making anything up here. I'm reading to you word for word. Bekosharot is an acronym for two words. Bechi veshirot. In order to come out of your prison, you have to be willing to go through crying sometimes. You have to be willing to go through an incredible joy, incredible singing. Bechi veshirot. Coming out of your prison is a process, is a challenge of going into deep places that you discover tears, you discover joys, you have to be willing to go through this process of bechi and shirot, of crying and singing. And kosharot is bechi and shirot. Mi shemaskim v'rotzeh zivug omer shira. If you agree and you say I'll get married, you'll end up singing. But whoever doesn't, uman delobai, if you don't want it, you'll end up crying. In other words, but it's hazorim bedima berina yiktzaro. It's whoever plows with tears will end up sowing, harvesting with joy, with song. So that's the introduction to what we wanted to say today regarding Mesilat Yesharim. And how is the Mesilat Yesharim the answer to this problem that we just mentioned? The problem of divorce, unhappy marriages. So the answer, first of all, and anyone who wants me to send it to you, please, it's Bereshit Rabbah, Parsha Samachet Ot Daled. Okay? So the Midrash of Bereshit Rabbah, I'll be happy to send it to you. So how is the Mesilat Yesharim the answer to this? And the answer is as follows. First of all, the name of the book. And I think we have to understand there's a reason why didn't God make us connected to our wife or the person we're going to marry from the day we were born? Why are we created without them, and then we have to find them? Why do we have to go through this process? The answer is that, first of all, that there's a time to be alone. Like I told my son, if you're looking to marry somebody because you feel so empty and you need someone to give you purpose and meaning, and you want to become whole, you want to become filled, you're not ready to get married. You have to be a whole half. You have to have a whole existence and values and joys and talent and hobbies and a whole world, a whole life. And then as a whole person, you meet this other person, another whole half, and then you have a healthy, beautiful relationship. Not that you need someone to come and give you meaning and purpose, and because you had nothing, and all these songs about it. Without you, I have no life. I have no meaning. I have no purpose. No, I have everything without you. I don't even need you. Lo tov heyot adam levodo. My rabbi says it is good because obviously God created you alone. So why does he say lo tov heyot? Suddenly the Torah says lo tov heyot adam. It's not good for a man to be alone, but you created me alone, right? As soon as it's lo tov, you're not feeling good about it. You're feeling I need more. You're feeling I want children. I want to become so much more. Then you're ready. But in the time that you're building yourself and you're growing to become who you are as a full person with values, with beliefs, with passion, that's why the first most important thing is building your relationship with God. King David says, believe this or not, if God came to me and said, one wish. It's not the fairy that has three wishes. It's the one wish. If God says to you, okay, what's the one wish you want? Achat shalti. You don't have three. We say this to him every single day. Achat shalti mit Hashem. Give me one wish. What do you want? You could choose being rich, live forever. I don't know, whatever you want. What would I ask?
Sit at your throne.
Shivti b'veit Hashem kol yemei. I want to have that relationship, connection with God, because that's the only relationship, the only connection that if you have it, it could never be taken away from you. Your wife, your children, your money, your life can be taken away from you. But if you have the Shivti b'veit Hashem, if you have that closeness to God, connection with God, that relationship with God, you have everything. And that's the most, so first that relationship needs to be in place. I have this relationship, I have this love. I heard this thing once, true love is not two people looking at each other and going, oh, it's two people looking in the same direction, having the values together, having the mission statement together, looking towards Yerushalayim, right? We want to build Yerushalayim, we want to bring good to the world. So not looking at each other, looking together towards the same goal, same mission. And the good news is, even if you don't choose someone who's looking in the same direction as you, this was a big revelation I had. Love is not that you have two people that want the same thing. It's two people that love each other so much that they support the other person in whatever their most important mission in life is. So even if the other person doesn't even want your mission, but they love you and they help you achieve that goal, that's also incredible, most important thing. Because it's also in relationships, you meet each other, you change, you wanted it, now she doesn't want it, she wants different things. But love is you don't want what the other person wants. Now again, when choosing the person to marry, the recommendation, based on thousands of hours of suffering and therapy that people go through, you choose a person that's similar to you in the values, in personality, even though you think, well, no, you have to find a person that's the opposite as you because they complete you. The challenge of a man and a woman are so different just by being a man and a woman. To now add the challenges of being opposites, she's an introvert, you're an extrovert, she's whatever the opposites are almost impossible. But the good news is, Avram and Sarah were the same. Yitzchak and Rivka were opposites. And then Yaakov married the same. So it's interesting. And who was the greatest of our fathers is Yaakov. If the parents survive, the parents that chose the opposites survive, the kids will be amazing kids. Most likely they won't survive. But if they do, the kids will be amazing. They're able to contain two opposite worlds. So if it happens, don't worry, it's also okay, but it just means you're going to have to work much harder. But try to like I say, on the offset, try to choose similar. You're not looking for the opposite, you're looking for the similar. that creates a lot more peace, a lot more joy, a lot more flowing, a lot more like less friction. It makes it much easier for the Shekhinah to dwell. So, that being said, how is the Mesilat Yesharim the answer? And that's what we're going to talk about. First of all, the name Mesilat Yesharim. The mindset that you go into marriage is, what is Mesilat Yesharim? What is the Rabbi telling us? Why did he choose this name of a train track? Why did he choose the name of a train track? The book that is the train track. To teach us the first most important lesson is, many people have many goals in their mind. I want to get from point A to point B. People like having, setting goals, and I have to, be efficient, and I have to get as fast as I can from point A to point B. But what people forget is, it's not about how fast you got from point A to point B. It's about, did you tie on your carts with the fortunes along the way? What does that mean? Did you tie in the carts? When you get married, you're now slowing down that train. You could have now traveled around the world 6 times. But now you have a woman who needs to put on makeup, who needs to do this, who also wants to go other places, and you can't now travel in 365 days the whole entire world. It may take you 1,000 years. So now you slowed it down. You tied on a cart. Now you're going a little slower, right? The Torah calls a marriage ol malchut, putting on a yoke of ol isha. A yoke, it's like another, okay, now I'm pulling a wife. Yes, but that's not about how fast you get there. It's about, did you tie on the carts a wife, a children? Wow, children. Now it's like, how you could sit and learn. Let's say you like learning Torah. You could sit and learn Torah 16 hours a day. It's amazing. Work out when you want to work out. Now you have a kid. Are you able to get in your, what we call likvoi tim la Torah? Are you able to put in your hour in the morning, hour at night? Maybe half an hour here, half an hour there. Was it slows everything down. So the first thing we said, the name Mesilat Yesharim, it's a track. Change your mindset. You're not here to get from point A to point B. You're here to bring the merchandise. Did you bring the merchandise? Did you carry on? Did you tie on the wife, the children, the personal growth, everything you had to do? Not about how fast you got there. Did you bring the merchandise? And that's what it means to get married. And now we're going to move to the explanation, and this is revolutionary. Like we said, the Ramchal is the master of organized, systematic program. Everything is categories, subcategories, systems. Once you built the foundations for understanding A, you're now ready to move on to understand B, and you can't get to B before you understand A. Everything is an organized program. So we're going to explain the program of the Mesilat Yesharim. If we could find a eraser, maybe even without. It's fine. No, we'll have to make do. So the Ramchal in his program, very, very organized, like we said. Every character you want to acquire is broken down to 4 parts. Part 1, and this is the layout for the whole entire book, and it's a master program. It's a revolutionary. Remember, I don't know if you understand who the Gaon of Vilna is. There's certain souls that God plants. It says that God plants certain souls in the world. These souls are like meteors. They come beaming down from this world, a power, a light that we can't even imagine, and their light, their vision keeps us going for generations. And these are certain souls that come down, like Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, like the Arizal, and one of these souls is also in our generation, so we're calling a couple hundred years, is the Gaon of Vilna, the Baal Shem Tov, the Ramchal, the Rav Kook. These are certain people that they come down and they give us food for thought for generations. One of those people is the Ramchal. And the Gaon of Vilna, who lived just a little after the Gaon of Vilna lived just after the Ramchal. When this book came out into print, he walked very far, kilometers, to go and buy this book for a huge amount of money. He put on his Shabbos clothes. He paid a huge amount of money, studied the book the first day 101 times, and then for the rest of his life, every single day studied this book. And he said, if the Ramchal was alive, I would go and sit by his feet and have him teach me. So if you understand what we're talking about, the Gaon of Vilna is like, we can't even begin to believe, to understand. And this is what he's talking about, the Ramchal. And what's incredible about it is that it's built also for all levels, from the Gaon of Vilna to the simplest person. The way it's written, the simplicity of it, and the depth. You could always go deeper based on who you are, based on you learning. And it's not a book of knowledge. It's a book of a workbook. So, in each chapter, each level of growth, spiritual growth, is broken down to 4 parts. The 4 parts are Klal, Prat, Kniya, and Hefsed. And at the end, I'll explain how this connects to the relationships also between the man and the woman. But first of all, we're talking Klal, Prat, Kniya, and Hefsed. So when you want to understand a certain character, here we're talking about changing your character, acquiring certain, becoming a different person. Okay, that's like, you have to remember, like, we're in this world for one purpose, as the Gaon of Vilna. We're in this world for one reason, and that's to develop our character, which is the opposite of the Western world. It says accept yourself the way you are, you're perfect. We say no, everybody has to, we all have our challenges, and we all got to be in a process of working, of growth. So some people have it harder. You grew up in a home where your father was screaming, yelling, angry all the time. You grew up in a whatever, you had about, it doesn't make a difference what you're, so for you it's hard, it makes no difference. But every person has to become what we call a balanced person, a person that is we call tikkun midot, a holy person, a spiritual person, a godly person, a growing person. So in order to acquire the character, whatever it is, there's 4 parts. So first part is klal, which means understanding the overview, understanding the big picture. Right? If you take the example of let's say marriage, right? So you have to understand the big picture. Why should I get married? What's important about it? What is, what comes out of it? What's the reasons for it? A big picture. It's like, and this is an important lesson for every Torah learning you learn in your life. Don't come into a Gemara class. Okay, Rabbi says this. Whoa. Understand, first of all, the big picture. What are the concepts? What are we learning? What is it about? Where does it come from the Torah? Before you go into the details, Rabbi says this, Abaya says that. This is the Ramchal is teaching you how to learn Torah. Understand the big picture. Understand the overview. Understand the concepts before you go into the details. So first, klal. So here in the Mesilat Yesharim, the first example, the first character we work on is zehirut. What is zehirut? We call paying attention, being aware, taking your freedom of choice back to your hands. Zehirut. The word zehirut is the opposite. What's the opposite of zehirut, of paying attention and being aware? The opposite is habit. Habits are, we have in us a cruise control button. We have in us a ability to act out of mechanical behavior. And we're not talking about bad habits, we're talking about good habits. If I'm praying today because I prayed yesterday, I'm not there. I'm a machine. I'm a robot. If I'm putting on film, done, okay? Now, it's Shabbos today, right? No, like I'm saying, we just do it out of habit, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a holiday. It's Pesach, it's Sukkot, whatever. And you know what I'm saying? If you're not making a choice, I am now, what are tefillin? Why am I doing this? And I'm choosing to do it. Then, like again, for children, it's good to make them into habit, just to be used to it. But then once they become bar mitzvah, once they become a little more knowledge, you have to explain to them, and they have to make a choice. I'm doing this out of choice, not out of habit. Habits, like we said in Hebrew, regel is what we call regel. The word hergel, the root of hergel, habit, is regel, is foot. What's the furthest place away from your brain? Your foot. Wait, what's the word Yisrael? Is the words li rosh. The ability, I have a head, I make a choice. So the first character we work on, understand the overview. Why does it happen? Why is it that we're not careful? Why is it that things become habit? And the Ramchal explains it, overview. And again, take this to your life and apply it to every aspect of what you're doing, what you're learning. That's why you never come into davening like, jump into Ashrei, right? You're supposed to come a few minutes, sit down. Part of Ashrei is actually saying some Tehillim, sitting down, think about what you're doing, prepare, or before you drink, everything. Just take 1 minute, just take an extra second and stop and say, wait, what am I doing now? Why am I doing this? And then do it. 1 extra second of preparation. What am I doing? Why am I doing it? That's the overview. Once you understand the overview, why you should get married, why it's so important, what does it mean, why does the Torah say it, why does Hashem say, what is this, bringing children into the world, whatever the reasons are, understanding the big picture. Then you're ready to go into the details of what to do. What to do. Now I have to go to a shadchan, I have to sign up for a dating app, I have to tell my friends I'm looking to get married, whatever. There's certain things that I need to do that actually I want to get married. So I'm not going to just sit there imagining. I'm going to bring it down to action. I know everything I need to do. That's what marriage. And when it comes to Zeirut, there's lists of like how cheshbon nefesh, that like they review your day. When it comes to, I'm jumping between the marriage and the Mesilat Yesharim. Zeirut. Okay, how do I make habits not take my life over? Cheshbon nefesh. And a whole list of how to do it. Then, okay, I understand the overview, klal. I know what I have to do, prat. But now, there's one more thing I need. And that is kniya. How do I acquire it? But I don't understand. You're telling me, if I understand the overview, and I know exactly what to do, I could say for you word for word what I need to do, what it's about. I know exactly what to do. But still, the Ramchal is teaching us that there is a huge disconnect between knowing what to do and actually doing it. Between theoretical and practical. Why is there a disconnect? The answer is because you need motivation. That's the missing sauce. Motivation. You could know exactly what to do. You could know what it's about in general. You could know about in detail. You could say it word for word. But you're still not able to do it, to make it happen. And this is in every character. You need motivation. And the Ramchal, with his genius, breaks down motivation to 3 personality types. We're not going to go into that. Or 3 levels of motivation based on your, not even personality. Yeah, maybe personality or who you are. So we see that everybody has a different way of motivation, and based on who you are, what kind of motivation you have to know to motivate yourself. You want people to learn Torah. Some people, it's enough to give them pizza. Some people, they need to feel that they're changing the world. They're not. The pizza is like, will not buy them. They're not going to come for the pizza. They'll come if they really feel that they're going to change the world. Because anyway, different personality. We're not going into the actual details. Motivation number 3. How do you motivate yourself to do everything you're able to mouth off and say the words amazing? How you're able to motivate yourself to do it. And then the 4th part, and that's to me the biggest. They're all the biggest, but the 4th part is the biggest secret here when it comes to relationships. Hefsedim. How to get married and stay happily married. How to not lose it. You understood the overview. You understood the details of what you had to do to acquire the midah, the character. You even motivated yourself to do it, and you bought it. It's yours. You owned it. You got it. You did it. Just because you got it doesn't mean you're going to be able to keep it, hold on to it. If you do, like you buy a car, if you don't do the maintenance on the car, even though it's interesting, Tesla, there's no maintenance. I have an electric car, and I was wondering, why do I have to do maintenance every 20,000 kilometers? But a Tesla is an electric car, no maintenance. If you have a problem, come in. No, but then I realized if you don't follow what their maintenance orders, because people are used to doing the maintenance every 20,000 kilometers, so they keep you in. They'll cancel your warranty, so you're stuck. But there's maintenance. If you don't do maintenance and upkeep, then even though you worked so hard to find the person, you made the fancy wedding, you did everything, you even understood about it, you were motivated to do it, you had the motivation, you can lose it. And when it comes to zehirut, for example, the Ramchal gives a list of 3 things that make you lose this zehirut. Of a person finally got back his freedom of control. 3 things will make you lose it. Overworking, which is a big danger, but it's the easiest one to combat, because all you got to do is make a decision. I'm going to make time for my body. Vayavo Yaakov Shalem. Yaakov Avinu came, it says it came complete. Shalem begufo, torato, mamono. Success is to be able to balance your body, your soul, and your work. So that's not so hard, because all you have to do is say, okay, you have to quiet down the bells of war, of this is a battle, it's life and death. If I don't work, I'm gonna die. If I don't work, this is pikuach nefesh, right? Pikuach nefesh, doche everything, right? So I don't have to daven, I don't have to learn, I don't have to do anything, I don't have to go be home, because I'm working, and it's the war of existence, and otherwise we're gonna die if we don't eat. Calm down. We're living after the Industrial Revolution. Not everyone has to work 16 hours a day in the field in order to have bread to eat. Now everyone has free time. You have enough. You can take a deep breath. I know you think that the whole world relies on you and you're going to die if you don't work 24 hours. Relax. Well, you calm yourself down, like the Torah says. Make a time before work starts, before all the craziness. Go learn Torah. Wake up at 5. Go to Daf Yomi. Learn Torah. Go to a little shir. Start your day at 8 o'clock. It's fine. That's the easiest one. Second one is harder. And this is when it comes to zehirut, is what we call making everything into a joke. This is a huge danger, especially in the Western world, in comedies and cynicism, and nothing has meaning, and everything's a joke, and you want to be, you want to fit in, and everything's, and you make a laughter of everything, make a joke of everything. There's nothing that will make you lose faster your zehirut, your ability to freedom of choice. That jokes, very dangerous. There's no meaning in anything. There's everything is just make fun of everything. But that's the second one. It's not as hard. The hardest one is the chevra, the society you have, the environment, your social environment, the choices that you make One of the biggest choices you can ever make in your life are who is my social group that I'm going to be with. And also that's based on how you're going to dress, because you dress based on the social group that you choose to associate yourself with. And a person is willing to give up on all of his values, on everything he's worked so hard for, in order to be accepted in society, to feel that he fits in. And again, I'm just throwing to you, like, in general. But this idea that you are not hopeless when it comes to losing what you've worked so hard to get, this is the biggest chiddush. Why? What do people call getting married? They call it falling in love. What does that mean, falling in love? You fell. You were walking and you fell. You had no choice. So you fell in love. Now you fell out of love. Because it just happens. And what is happiness? Something happened to you. You're helpless. That's it. That's why I told my son. I said, you're standing under the chuppah right now. She's the most beautiful. You're the most beautiful. You guys are love each other more than ever. You think to yourself, this is it. We reached the peak. If you reach the peak, we won the lottery. We just won the fortune. We just won the how do you say? We found the treasure. If you found the treasure, you won the fortune, and you're at the peak, then where do you go from there? Downhill. I said to them, it's so important right now when you're standing under the chuppah. Tell yourself, we did not find the fortune. We found the map that takes us to the fortune. And that means you wake up tomorrow morning, you put on your gear, and you say, let's go on the journey. Let's go dig. Let's go hike. Let's go, we're ready to work. Let's get to work. And then on the journey you go, you find another piece that's taking you closer to that fortune. And then you have a child, and then you have revelations of learning each other and growing. And the fortune is only at the end, 120 years. That's why Shlomo Melech says, Al yitalal choger kemefateach. People do these weddings. We just did this wedding. Hundreds of thousands you spend on food. What are you getting so excited? Shlomo Melech says, Al yitalal choger kemefateach. Do not praise yourself, a person who is putting on his choger. Right, in the army, we call the choger is the vest, the war vest. Don't praise the person who's putting on the vest as you praise the person who's taking off the vest. He went to war. He fought. He came back. He took off the vest. Oh, now make the celebration. That's the time to make the $100,000 wedding. At the wedding of 60 years, with children, with a relationship, that's the time to make the big party. The wedding, bring a few barekas. I used to play weddings. That was my living. I was a musician. I haven't played a wedding in years. Last week, I get a call. Listen, there's a wedding. They don't have a band. Can you help arrange them a band? I know you used to be in music. A friend who knew I was in music. Can you arrange a band? A couple, 50 people in a house. Second marriage. Can you arrange the wedding? Just arrange the band. No problem. I'll call a few friends and I'll arrange it. No problem. Called a few friends, violinist, this, that, sound system, good, go do it. Day before the wedding, my friend calls me, I didn't realize I have to cancel. Uh-oh. I said, okay, I'll do it. Pulled out my sound system, guitars, drums, everything from the machsan. Played the most beautiful wedding I've ever played in my life. I played hundreds of weddings. I used to be a wedding band. That's what I used to play. And this wedding, first of all, the thing that made me so happy, it was a chatan and kala who were the same age, both 65 years old. And it's always very sad that these 80-year-old guys are looking for the 20-year-old girl. that they can't have a relationship with. I understand, the excuses, they need children, but like, listen, man, you waited till 60, 70, like, have someone at least you can have a relationship with. I'm not telling people what to do, but the rabbis say you shouldn't get married more than a third of your age in difference of marriage. I happen to be a shadchan as well, so I'm involved in that world. But at the chuppah, this woman had her 4 boys holding the chuppah. 50 people, modest, beautiful. They didn't have to spend a fortune. It was shechina. It was so beautiful. A violinist, a guitar. That's it. What else do you need? 2 musicians. It was so beautiful. The joy. Anyone wants to see a picture? I'll show you a picture of the chatan and kala. So beautiful. So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Again, I hope you got something out of it. The idea was that you should learn Mesilat Yesharim. But the idea is, again, hefsedim. You're not hopeless. It's not that I got married and it's just downhill from there. No, there is steps to take as a Jew. You have to take the steps not to have the wear and tear. If you do the job, if you're aware, if you're on top of it, if you talk, if you listen, if you spend time, all these things, it doesn't have to go down. It could actually keep going up and up and up and up and up. Thank you, everybody, and mazel tov. Anybody wants to get married, talk to me, and I do shidduchim.